Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us for some more Real Talk Dog Talk. I'm Tori.
And I'm Barb.
For those of you who haven't joined us before, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at realtalkdogtalk@yahoo.com.
And if you are a regular listener or emailer, we love to hear from you. We like to get the ideas, so keep those emails coming in.
As usual, we have Enzo and Jim with us today. Today, Jim stole the big bed.
Yeah.
So
he got in here ahead of everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, Enzo was claiming the new rug in the hall, so
Yeah.
you snooze, you lose, buddy.
Yeah. There's just constant, well, I won't say competition, but these two do go around over who gets what bed and what rug and what corner of the couch.
Yeah, they both seem to think they're in charge.
Little do they know.
It's neither of them.
Right. Getting a little too big for their britches, they are.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. So I have been getting a lot of emails. It seems to be the trend that some people are actually opting to not have children, but possibly to have pets instead. And sometimes when you're getting multiple animals in your house, you start to have some problems, and people have been having questions about little, scuffles that go on in the house, or, feeding routines, that they don't really know how to manage the feed time because there's tension over food. The list just goes on. So instead of addressing each little problem,
Yep.
I did a little bit of research and found a book that might be helpful to people out there. I have, read part of it and skimmed through part of it. And we don't sponsor this particular author, and she is not a sponsor to us.
Yep.
This is just a book that I found actually on Amazon.
Yeah, okay, nice.
And I really felt like she sounded like a real competent person.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I bought one book one time, and it was like more of a pamphlet.
Ah.
And I thought, what is this? This is not a training book.
Did they get paid for that?
I think, well, they did, and it was more than I should have paid for it. I was not
Wow.
happy with that purchase. But this is a really good book, and it's got some ideas in it. Her name is Nicole Wilde.
I have actually not heard of her before now.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to do a little looking on her.
Right, well, and I didn't know of her either.
Mhm.
I was strictly looking for, a training book.
Right.
And she came up.
Yep. Well, and there's a lot of good trainers out there and stuff like that. So I'm sure, I haven't read the book myself, so I'll have to read it later. But I skimmed it. So, but she's written 11 books, I believe is what it said, and she's an award-winning author and a canine behavior specialist. I couldn't find anywhere what her educational
Credentials are.
Yes. So.
Well, I know she is somehow, she does have some association with Tia Torres.
Oh, from Pit Bulls and Parolees.
Yeah, she's
okay.
Active, or at one time was active with them.
Nice. I watched that. I think you and I used to watch that show too.
Yeah.
That's actually have you seen a picture of this Nicole Wilde?
I have.
Like in her natural state, not done up for a book cover.
No.
She looks quite similar to Tia Torres.
No.
I was like, that's interesting.
They're twinsies,
So
huh?
yeah, I was like, that makes sense then. So anyway, that's not relevant, but
No.
interesting.
Yeah. So I think this book is actually got a lot of really good information in it. Despite, well, and I'm going to say this: there are quite a few states that do not require any actual certification for dog trainers.
That's a little sketchy though, isn't it?
Well, I think the more, I would say more reliable ones have taken the initiative to get training.
Yeah.
The ones that maybe are just out there trying to make a dime off of people having hassles with their dogs, yeah, that's probably kind of sketchy. But really, I think there again, you got to do your research and, ask a lot of questions and make sure you're dealing with somebody that you feel confident in.
Google's there for a reason, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So whether she has, a long, list of credentials or not, I was impressed with a lot of the stuff she said in this book.
Well, and she has her own blog and website. She writes articles still for different, she writes a blog for the Huffington Post and then articles for various magazines. And then she does own her own dog training business in Southern California called Gentle Guidance Dog Training.
Oh.
So she does do, I believe it was Zoom consultations right now at this time. So.
Well, by the name of her business, I would guess it's like a positive reinforcement type training.
Yes, she really focuses on that and just like gentle parenting for dogs. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Parenting for dogs.
Yeah.
That's a nice term.
Yeah.
But the book that I found is called Keeping the Peace. And it is a guide to solving dog-on-dog aggression in the home. So we're not necessarily talking about like at the dog park or even in a dog class. It's specifically for in the home, and there might be a few little tips in here that would be helpful as far as being out and about, but it is focused on the home life.
Between your own dogs that you got there.
Right.
Okay.
Kind of a sibling rivalry kind of thing. It's like, kids fighting and whatnot, except for generally kids don't bite each other.
No, you hope not.
You hope not. And, well, you don't have to worry about rabies with them.
Well, that's true. Although I do have my rabies vaccine taken care of. So.
Good.
Yeah. Stupid cats.
Oh, I thought it was because of the brothers.
Well.
No?
No, not them, but,
Well, so I'm just going to kind of go through some of the things she has in here. It's, this is an actual book, so it would be ridiculous for me to try to say everything that's in here that is important.
Right.
But there are quite a few good points that I was trying to just highlight a few, and I would have had to highlight the whole page.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Too much.
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of consolidate her information, and really I do recommend you getting it. It's a pretty good book, especially if you're a multiple dog home. Mm-hmm. Some things that are contributing factors for problems within the home. The first thing she has listed is the sex of the dogs.
Okay.
And she has found that there are more conflicts when you have 2 females than 2 males.
And that's surprising to me because from my experience, which I'm not a professional, so keep that in mind, but it seemed to me males are a little bit more aggressive, but I'm wrong.
Well, and I'm going to read this right out of the book.
Okay.
It says here, males will fight with each other, but although it's often loud and sounds frightening, there is not usually as much physical damage as there can be with the females. And it's kind of a funny little comparison. She has male-on-male skirmishes are more of a bar fight. When females fight, it's often quieter, more prolonged, and much more intense.
just like people.
It is.
What is that? See?
It is, and you take a couple of guys in the bar, they get in a fight, and the next day they're out for drinks like they're best buds.
Yeah, it's fine.
So it does seem a lot like people.
That is super interesting.
Yeah. Another one is litter mates, and this is something as a breeder we always caution people about buying two puppies at the same time.
Yep.
Some people call it litter mate syndrome.
Oh.
And it is just the puppies kind of it just makes it a little bit harder for the owner to be the person in charge and have that special bond with the dog, because they have their forever friend.
Right.
They came from the same litter, they're going to go live in the same house. So it's a little harder for the owner to actually get that connection with them, because they tend to be drawn to each other.
Sure, yeah.
Since they've been together since birth, of course.
Well, that makes sense for sure. I mean, they're in the womb together, which, I don't know, they say, twins are, intuitive to, is that the right word, with each other?
They're in tune to each other.
Oh, in tune, there we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is maybe something like that. I don't know.
Well, that, and, also, you want to create the confidence. The dog wants to, you have to be that leader. You have to be the person that the dog goes to, for reassurance. And when you have that with one dog, it's just kind of a natural thing. The dog goes to you.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's two puppies, then they're more likely to go to one another. So you have to really focus. When you have litter mate puppies, you really have to focus on getting them separated and getting individual connection with them.
Yeah.
Also, there is something called sibling rivalry.
I've heard of that.
Which does go to humans as well. But dogs will, and I've heard people say, oh, I had them for 7 years and they got along great. I don't know what happened. Well, I don't know either, but I'm guessing they,
something
it's
happened.
A brother and a sister, or sister and a sister, or brother and a brother.
Could have looked at them wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes that is all it takes.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That can be tricky with dogs, because you really do have to pay attention sometimes, and it's like that one. I know we talked about it like several episodes back, but where it's just like a split second.
Yeah.
And
Well, another one she has is health, and I'm again going to read right out of here. She says, dogs are opportunistic, and if there is a sudden opportunity to gain more control, some dogs will take it, or maybe the sick dog who becomes aggressive. Now, one thing about a sick dog becoming aggressive is sometimes it is pain related.
Right.
And they can be cranky or easily injured. So sometimes an older dog turns nasty just out of sheer pain. And it can take it one way or another. Stress can cause friction between dogs in the same home. And also, she refers to something called trigger stacking.
Oh, what is that?
And that is like, she uses the example in the book. I'm not reading it verbatim, but she does use the example that, you take one dog to the vet, they're in the car, they go to the vet, they get their shots, they come home, they're feeling a little overwhelmed, and then here comes the other dog, and it actually creates just more than they can take, and they snap at the other dog.
Okay.
So, the stack triggers is just when in my words, become when overwhelmed with too many things happening at one time, and they just kind of go at the nearest dog.
Just pop like an overfull balloon.
Right. So,
well, that is not a term I have heard before. So but it makes sense when you say it, though.
Mm-hmm.
So
she also always recommends doing behavior diary.
I've never done that.
I have not either, I will be honest. But, the thing is some of the signs of a dog getting ready to, I hate to use the word attack.
Sure.
But, if they're feeling tense and they want to, kind of act out to the other dog, sometimes something that indicates stress can also indicate happy.
Well, that makes it a little tricky, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So you really have to look at the whole situation. You can't just say, oh, his hackles were up.
Right.
Hackles being up can be a sign of arousal.
Yeah. Okay.
So, you can't just say, that is a sign of. Also, some people talk about the position of the tail, indicating whether the dog is happy or not. There might be times that the dog is just super excited and their tail is held real high and it has nothing to do with any aggression.
I think I told you about it before, but I don't know where I read it or who said it, so maybe I shouldn't be bringing it up. But I somewhere had read that when a dog wags their tail, it doesn't mean anything, and I call BS on that. Okay, I think that's really, it doesn't mean anything, huh? Just let me just move this part of my body for no reason whatsoever. I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Well, you can't tell people not to think what they think. Some people are just stuck in their own thoughts. But I did also have a trainer tell me that there was no such thing as a happy dog. They just are dogs. And I opted to not use that trainer.
Yeah.
I just feel like dogs are happy. Or they can be depressed, too. I see that. I know when I work too many hours, I can see my dogs aren't as happy as when I'm home more.
Oh, yeah.
So, and there's a huge behavior difference. So,
let me just say, okay, so when we come home at the end of the day, this is a great example, and Ziggy's trying to punch you, I'm pretty sure he jabs it with his front paw out of love. It's not really a punch.
My Ziggy punches
yes. You? He got me earlier. I stood too close. I wasn't paying attention.
Got a bob and weave with that big boy.
You do. So, I don't know. I think that's a happy dog right there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he is so happy. He screams like a girl when you come home. He is so excited to see you.
It is hilarious.
It is. But when you're doing this creating your behavior diary, you want to not only include what is happening, but the frequency.
Okay.
The intensity. There's a big difference between a full-on fight or, just a little squabble,
right.
Like, get out of my way.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the circumstances.
Like if you're camping or... No, because we're talking about in-home, so that would...
Well, things like, she has here, was there a visitor in the home that made the dog nervous? Mm. Was there tension between, family members that day?
Okay.
Did they miss their morning walk? And things just are out of sorts.
So it sounds like kind of changing routine.
Oh, and you know what? There's something on that too here.
Oh.
Further on in the book, but
okay.
But having that record-keeping information is super important because it does take those occasional behaviors that could indicate either way.
Yeah.
It helps you break down what it actually means.
Right. Well, that would make sense for sure, yeah.
Let's see. And one thing she points out is that even though you may have, clients that have different, similar situations, what appears to be similar,
right?
That really there are no two situations that are the same,
right?
Because of the environment, the people, the other dog, So you have to really take a look at your own, and this is individualized. So
Right.
if this is your situation, you have to really take a look at what's going on and figure out the answer according to your own needs and your dog's.
Right, in that specific
Right.
situation / setting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of the triggers for aggression can be food, chew items, and snacks. I think we're talking kind of a resource aggression here.
Yeah.
And then she has water on here.
I don't think I've ever had a dog that was aggressive about water, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean...
well, I don't know. It said, in her writing, she says that there are some dogs that will guard the water. So, I've not, I've seen the toys and the food and, snack items. Actually, I don't give my dogs any kind of bones unless they're alone in their kennel.
Yep.
And I'm going to be gone for a longer period of time. Then they have time alone with that bone. It keeps them busy.
Yeah.
And so I never really put something high value down in front of my own dogs because I think that is just asking for problems.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you remember, I used to get those big, huge bones for the dogs. Mm-hmm. And it did cause some slight tension. So before that could even really erupt into an issue, I just quit doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not saying people shouldn't give them.
Right.
But if you have a couple of dogs that aren't getting along, possibly let them have their bone. One have a bone outside, one have it inside.
Right. And
then maybe on an alternative day, switch it around so one dog is not always outside.
Make it a little more even that way.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing. Those digestible bones where they're actually supposed to eat them are way better, I think, because they do. They have time to eat it. Get it chewed up, and then by the time you're home from work and everything like that, it's not even a problem.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and they have there's many different kinds. I used to buy the busy bones.
Oh yeah.
But they actually don't last any longer than some of the less expensive ones. Yeah. So
that's right along with those indestructible beds. I'm telling you.
They use their terms far too loosely on those.
I agree. Yeah.
Let's see. Some other items that might cause some friction between your animals is actually location.
Location.
They might, if you have a home office or something, sometimes one dog may block the other from going in or out.
Oh.
And it's just kind of, to me, when I hear that kind of example, I immediately think that they're being possessive of their owner.
Right, yeah.
And then the next paragraph here is owners.
Oh. Well, didn't see that coming.
And she says, you are a valuable resource. So, yeah, I think that's something to think about. Also, visitors. Now, I live quite rural, so I don't get a lot of visitors at my house.
Right.
But it does create a lot of, I guess you'd say, arousal.
Yep.
The dogs start running along the fence, and then pretty soon they're kind of going at each other because I don't think they know why.
Everybody's going one way or another, and it's just a big mess.
Yeah. And sometimes anything that can be, almost fun, playing catch, running along the fence, a visitor at the door, even if it's a positive thing, if the energy level gets too high, it can actually create tension between two dogs.
Oh, okay.
And, I have my dogs kind of broke up in groups of dogs that are, compatible or not compatible. Mm-hmm. To be honest, I keep my intact males away from each other because that is a dog fight waiting to happen at my house.
Oh, yeah.
So they can go out with the girls at the right time of the year, and you know, when the girls are out on their own and something's got them excited out in the yard, whether it's the rooster crowing, you know, maybe Tori's driven up in the driveway.
I'm a very exciting guest.
Or the mailman is there. Anything like that, even though it's a happy, positive thing to them, you know, the excitement level can escalate to a point where it turns into a fight.
Right, yep.
And I do have a couple right off the top of my head that I know do that.
Well, Jim doesn't like everybody in this house. He's just bossy.
That's because he's a little dog. Little dogs are bossy. They think they are big dogs.
They are. So, well, they think they are, yeah.
Yeah, they do. Another thing that she mentions is that the more relaxed your dogs are, the less likely they are to fight. And, you know, I think that goes, you know, back to the arousal where, you know, anything that's a positive can turn in, the excitement level can go so high that it creates a problem. Well, stress is the same thing. You know, there can be so much tension, so much, you know, energy in the air that all of a sudden they're going at each other and there's really nothing wrong.
Right.
So, you know, the calmer the environment, I oftentimes when I'm home in the evenings and things are settling down for the day, I'm sitting on the couch, everyone's just lounging around on the ottoman, the other couch, and it kind of has a zen kind of feeling about it.
Right.
And I can feel it in my dogs. They're just relaxed. They're, you know, we're watching a little A. Hitchcock.
Yeah.
And they're just really chilling. And that is not an environment that is going to create a fight.
No. So what this tells me is we're going to have to figure out the proper feng shui in the dog building. Is that
Can you make proper feng shui in a dog building?
Well, I will Google it. I'll get back to you.
Go ahead and Google that one for me. And then also that she recommends to kind of try to reduce the trigger stacking. You know, if there's too many things going on at one time, you know, that's just not going to be a good setting for the dogs. Right. So, you know, try to not have an overwhelming amount of things going on. That's sometimes hard. I mean, people who have kids, they got dogs, they got, you know, things going on. People are going to the vet. People are, you know, coming home from school and work. So it is hard to keep that stimulation down.
It is. Well, and my son, he has friends come over sometimes, which I have a small group, so it's not really, you know, and not all of the kids like dogs, so sometimes they just are in their kennels while we got little kids around, so.
Well, as far as being a parent and a dog owner, that's just being responsible. And I think that's very appreciated by other parents who maybe are a little apprehensive of their kids coming over to your house when you do have big dogs. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really a great thing to do.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I mean, if I wasn't a dog person, I might be a little bit like, well, I don't know that person's dog. I'm sure they're great. But, you know, I'm a worrying mom, as you know. So, anyway.
She is. What this gal recommends, too, is to really try to learn and focus on body language of the dog. And look for the signs that could possibly prevent, you know, a negative interaction between your dogs.
Yeah.
She says here, if we can learn to observe and understand their language, we will be better equipped to recognize when our dogs are starting to become tense and will therefore be able to intervene before friction escalates into a fight.
Yeah.
So some of the body language that she talks about is something that can go both ways. This is what I was talking about earlier.
Yep.
And, you know, if you just read this, you know, the signs of, you know, a potential, I really hate to use the term dog fight because that is not really where we're going with it. We want to avoid that.
It's like a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you just read this, portion, you'd be super confused.
Oh, okay.
Because they're saying, it sounds like they're talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Oh, sure.
But raised hackles, that's the hair standing on the back, is frequently misinterpreted as it is surely an indication of aggression.
Mm.
Well, it's also often seen during play and is simply a function of arousal.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I pretty much thought if their heckles were up, that time to get the heck out,
Yeah. And that's why she says, you have to really look at the overall context of the situation or circumstances that's going on.
Right.
Before you can determine if it's a negative thing or a positive thing.
Is that just how your dog says, hey, I'm excited?
Yeah. And, it's confusing for us, but the dogs know.
Right.
That's kind of the thing.
Yep. Which, is that where the journaling, is that right, comes in?
Oh, yep. And that's exactly why you want to do that, so that you can not only put down what is going on with the dog physically,
mm-hmm.
but, the surrounding, what's happening around it while that is happening.
Okay, yeah.
So.
Setting, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, lip licking, that is something, I guess, I've seen my horses do that.
Yeah.
But she says here, it's something that a dog does when they are concerned about something in their environment.
Oh.
A quick flicking motion where the tongue darts out briefly and touches their upper or lower lip, then disappears and is repeated. It means that the dog is nervous.
Is it like a lizard type thing? That's what I'm imagining with the...
Yeah.
Like a...
I don't know if I'd say a lizard, but I get where you're going with that one. I guess I've never really seen that in a dog with a... I don't think... I see that with horses, mm-hmm. but I've never known that of a dog, but I'm not a behavioralist.
Well, these guys have awful big lips to just be barely... I don't know.
Well,
I'll have to... Now I'm going to be looking for it.
Now, these next two I'm going to just mention, and I'm kind of curious to see what your reaction is to this.
Okay.
Yawning is another signal that can happen for more than one reason, but very commonly it is a sign of stress. Another stress signal is turning away. Turning away can encompass just the head or the entire body. What do you have to say about that?
Well, it makes me think of Jim being snotty. He's bored, so he's yawning at me. And then, he doesn't want to do what I say. He's just going to look this way.
Do you ever kiss Ziggy?
Yes.
What does he do?
He jabs you, and, he will get... If you don't want it, you're not getting it, okay? He'll take his whole self away from you. Yeah, he will.
He also yawns at you. I don't know, maybe you don't realize that. He yawns and turns his face away.
Oh, I guess he does. Now that you say it, yeah.
You're making him nervous.
I find that very hard to believe. You should see, this dog's head is like twice the size of mine, okay? It's not,
You're a very scary little lady.
You better be afraid, yeah.
Yeah. So, that's just the way they kind of avoid things.
Yeah.
Another calming sign is to avert the eyes. So, I really, I like that one because what comes up next is the hard stare.
Oh, yeah.
So, what she's saying is, that a calming thing, something that they are avoiding, something that makes them nervous, is to look away.
Yeah.
But when they are giving you a hard stare,
they mean it.
They do. And it is considered a threat. Just plain and simple, it's a threat. and is instantly perceived as that by other dogs.
Wow. That's a big old FU from them, isn't it, then?
It is, and it's oftentimes accompanied by a frozen stance.
I have seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are some things to kind of look at when you're dealing with your dogs. Another one, I always chuckle at this one. I'm not even reading from her book, but she has one here written down that is whale eyes.
Oh, I've heard that term.
Yeah, and that's when the whites of the eyes show more than they normally would. Elsa.
I was just gonna say, she mad all the time.
She
then?
always has that whale eye look, and she oftentimes gives me dirty looks. So
her eyebrows work too. I don't know if that makes sense to other people, but she does. She has expressions.
Yeah, well, the whale eyes is supposed to be a indication of stress. Her raising her brows at me, I haven't found that in this book at all. So that might be Elsa's own little rendition of the whale eye.
Well, she is one of a kind. That is for dang sure. She is super funny.
She is great. Also, growling is something that we should talk about. And she has quite a few comments on that. But growling, a lot of people scold their dogs for growling. And actually, that is just a warning.
Yep.
And the dogs that don't growl and just snap, those are the ones that you need to be worried about, because there is no warning. They're not saying to their pet sibling, back off. They're just going to attack them.
Right.
And so growling isn't really, I guess you can. It's your dog, but I don't recommend really scolding them for that.
Well, and can you imagine that other dog? If you think about it, that they might not even know they're doing anything wrong.
Right.
And with no indication, hey, you're too close, you're bugging me, whatever the case.
Yep.
That would be that would be a bad situation. Now, I have been guilty of doing that, but we've talked about that too.
Right. Well, you and I talked quite a bit about the handling of dogs, and I guess I think I've had dogs since I was 15. I talked my mom into getting me a dog.
Yeah.
And I'm very old now, so I've got a lot of experience with them. But you're kind of an up-and-comer. You've had your own dogs for some years now, and so I love to talk about dogs and share information if people are having problems. I have no problems talking to them about some ideas for curbing whatever's going on with them, or maybe building their confidence, whatever the case may be.
Well, and I call you for everything, because if there's something I don't know, or I go to you before I go to Google, because you have first-hand experience with a lot of different things. So
little do you know, I'm Googling it on the other end of the...
Oh, great. I've been fooled. Google. I've been fooled.
You thought I knew. One thing I used to work at our local humane society, and we had a dog brought back to us because the people said he was showing his teeth at them.
Was it a Shiba Inu smiling?
No, but they do refer to, she talks about a submissive grin. And there is a difference between a dog that is showing its teeth and angry.
Yeah.
And a submissive grin. And I think it's important to know the difference so you're not mislabeling the dog as being aggressive or mean, whether it's to you or your kids, or especially if you have small kids,
Right.
I think older kids aren't quite so vulnerable.
Right.
But the little ones, you definitely have to be wise to what's going on with your dogs.
Right.
They can easily get confused.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Well, that's I'm sorry, the whole time you were talking about, I just pictured Jim. When you walk into my house, you know it too. He gets all squinty, his ears go down, and he smiles at you, and it's just the cutest thing ever.
He does, and I think he tries really hard. He couldn't grin any bigger.
No.
His ears go flat,
Yeah.
and he is like cheek to cheek grinning.
He is.
Another thing that is kind of a warning, I think kind of works together with the growling, but snapping at you.
Ooh.
Now, there's a difference between biting and actually snapping at you, because a lot of times a dog will actually snap as a warning. Yeah.
I got bit by a pit bull, but I feel like it was the snapping thing.
And he got you.
He just got me. I was just too, yeah. And he was sleeping, so, I mean, the whole situation was kind of confusing, but I feel like it was a snapping thing, and I was just closer than everybody thought. So.
Well, she makes a point that, dogs are faster than people.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So really, if they want to bite you, they're going to bite you.
Well, and that's the thing. He was not, and it was my face. So I was very glad it wasn't anything more than that, because, if he wanted to, that could have been real bad.
I won't allow my dogs to snap at me.
Mm-hmm.
They do not snap at me. I think it just sets them up for thinking that they are the leader, and they're not.
Right.
So I don't allow it myself. That's just me.
Well, and I really like the people who had those dogs. I probably would have handled that dog a little bit differently after that, personally, but they were, the dog was around small children and everything even after that, and I'm like,
in many of our episodes, I have said that you have to really be honest with yourself about your dog.
Right.
And if you do have a dog that is a risk for biting, you really need to face up to that.
Right.
And do the right thing by that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to put the dog down or get rid of it.
Right.
I did have years ago a dog that I felt, she got along with some of my grandkids, but not all of them. So she didn't really care for loud kids. She didn't like when there was a lot of screaming and rowdiness. She didn't like being jabbed at or bounced on. So when some of my grandkids would come over, I would put her in a kennel away from them.
Yeah.
And she was comfortable. She was taken care of. She had, a digestible bone.
Right.
And she was in there having her own time.
Which she probably enjoyed that.
I'm sure she enjoyed that a lot more than being stressed out by the kids poking at her. The grandkids used to stick their fingers in the kennel and jab at her nose, and they were just the right height where they were face to face with her, and they would scream and wrestle. Half my grandkids are rowdy, half are not.
Yeah.
So the rowdy ones, I just put her away. It was better for her. It
Yeah.
was better for the kids. And it took away any tension that could happen between myself and my kids.
Right.
That, are the parents.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you have to just really be honest with yourself as far as your dog's own behavior.
Right.
And if it's something you cannot change, then you do have to manage it.
Right.
And actually, that's one of the chapters in this book is managing behavior, and hopefully it never gets to the point where you have to kind of do extra things to keep peace in the house.
Right. Yeah.
But there are situations where sometimes you do.
Yep. It does happen.
Yeah. Some of the things that kind of helps the dog be a little bit more relaxed so that they are a little bit easier to get along with other dogs is exercise.
Oh, yeah.
You have to make sure that, some of these high drive dogs or even working dogs, they really need a job, something to do.
Yep.
And there are so many interactive things, toys and games actually for dogs. And you can get some of these things and work with the dog, or like the Kongs that you can squirt cheese or peanut butter in. And that actually, mental stimulation is actually more exhausting than physical exercise to dogs. But if you have a good balance of tossing the ball around, taking them for walks, if you have, I don't know, different types of, I don't know if I'm a fan of dog parks because I think there's some irresponsible people there. But if you have something along that line that you're comfortable with, you take the dog out to that. But exercise and mental stimulation are really important for dogs. When they're at home, then they're not all pent up and feeling anxious. They're tired. They're going to go sleep on their bed.
Right.
And there's no hassles.
Yep.
So that is something to think about as well. You know, are you giving them the right stimulation mentally and physically?
Right. Is it enough? Some dogs need a lot more than others, too.
That is true. Yeah.
I mean, Enzo, for example, needs very little. Okay.
As he is sleeping on the podcast room floor.
Yes.
Yeah. Something she recommends when you do have tension between a dog and, you know, a little bit of a scuffle breaks out, she talks about diffusing the situation.
Okay.
And, you know, if you're catching it before there's actually a fight, she talks a lot about kind of using a fun way to diffuse it, just distracting them from the issue and breaking it apart, opposed to scolding or punishing them or making them go in a kennel. You know, using a happy voice, and, you know, if they're being jealous over you, you know, don't turn one away, but maybe separate them and talk happy so that they aren't even focused on each other.
Yeah.
So she thinks in terms of doing it in a more positive way.
I really like that, actually.
Yeah.
I think that's nice.
It doesn't, no one's feeling rejected.
Right.
You're just breaking the tension.
Yep. And I'm not, dogs feel rejected too, okay?
Tori does think they are people. But if you have a full-on fight, you want to be really careful with that. You don't want to, and actually one thing she said, I've always told Dietrich, and I think you know this, that I do not have fights at my house. I don't allow it. I keep everyone, you know, split up with the dogs they get along with the best. And I alternate. I spend time with this dog, that dog. I do training time separate. You know, a lot of shuffling around.
Yeah.
But I have, ever since Dietrich was little, Tori's son, I have told him that if a fight breaks out, get up on the kitchen counter and sit there with your feet up and don't come down till I tell you.
Right.
And that is something that she stresses in the book, is that if you have small children around, to make sure that they know.
Get out of there.
Yep, it's not, don't get your hands in there, nothing. Get those kids out.
Yep, yes.
While you're dealing with the situation at hand. And if there is a problem at my house, Dietrich goes right to the kitchen and gets up on the counter.
Yep.
Which sounds weird, but I feel like it's a up and out of the way
He
place.
can get to, yeah.
So that is something that she brings up as well that I think is a really great point.
I think so too, yeah. Well, that's, you know, too, you really have got to teach your kids too when you have dogs.
Oh yeah, I think that's super important.
It's such a big deal.
I think, you know, when you have a full-on fight, it was kind of, you know, she does some of the same things that I actually have done.
Well, just going through this stuff, I mean, you should have written a book. Okay.
Well, my thoughts are not as collected as hers.
Well, if you had more time, maybe you would. I don't, you know.
She's far more focused. But yeah, if you have a full-on fight, she talks about a loud noise to kind of just distract them and break them away from each other. She talks about using pans. a couple pots and pans, an air horn, the kind for sports or on a boat.
Yep.
Those are things that we all always used. Sometimes if I see things happening, it's something as simple as putting a magazine between their faces.
Right, just break that.
Yeah, get them so they aren't, doing the hard stare like she refers to earlier on in the book.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of things that are important to know. And, if you read this book, you might find ways that you never ever get to the point where you have full-on fights.
Right, which, again, I know that you do it this way, and I prefer as well. I'm not as good at training dogs yet, but preventative. I think that's an excellent way of going. Mm-hmm. I mean,
just don't let it happen.
Right. And then you don't have to fix a problem. There isn't one.
Yeah, try to stay on top of it. That's that is how I feel about, handling dogs, and especially multiple dogs in one home. One thing she talks about, and I actually did not know they had these. Let me find what it's actually called here.
Okay.
A breaking stick.
That sounds harsh.
Well, she's referring to when dogs clamp onto each other and won't release.
Oh.
I had that happen only once in my life, and that was when you guys were kids. But I guess you can actually buy them online.
Okay.
And it's a wooden wedge, and you insert it, the tapered end, behind the molars and twist, and the jaw will open, then calmly separate the dogs. Now, I don't know about the calmly separating the dogs.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know they made something like that.
I didn't either. That would have been handy to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't recall the fight you're speaking of, but...
Well, it was Lolly, my boxer, got a hold of Sydney's foot.
Oh.
And we couldn't get her to let go.
Through the gate.
Yeah, Sydney was another dog, not a kid.
Yeah, There's not dog-on-child violence in our homes here.
None of that. One thing, I got to tell a funny story about Tori.
Uh-oh. Oh, geez. Yeah. There's too many.
Yeah, one thing she mentions is water. If you're outside, grab a hose and spray them.
Yeah.
I have in the past grabbed like a pitcher of water and thrown at a dog.
Yeah.
And we had a dog fight. Cody was just... I bet he is 3rd grade.
Yeah, he was young.
So you would have been 5th grade, 6th?
Yeah. So 4.5 years older than him. So say 5 grades.
So you were a preteen.
Yep.
And we had a fight going on out in the yard between that same boxer that I was just talking about and another dog.
I know.
And I yelled at Tori, not at her, but to her, to say, hey, go grab some water.
Yes.
Thinking she would grab a glass of water, a pitcher of water, something.
Yeah.
And the fight ended. We got it to stop. So I went walking in the house, and Tori was standing there with her hands under the water checking the temperature.
Well, room temperature water is not going to get their attention, is it? Okay.
And I said, what are you doing? And she said, well, I was just checking the temperature.
Just get water.
I was like, I just needed some water to throw at the dogs.
I didn't know, or did I? I mean...
So,
oh, yeah.
Temperature is not a huge issue. Of course, we don't want to burn them.
Right.
But just grab some water, throw it at them, and it usually will startle them.
I mean, typically if you turn a faucet on, it's not going to be scalding hot right away. So,
not usually.
You know, you're probably going to be all right.
So, yes, water is a good one, too.
Yeah.
But also there, she talks about after a fight, and, they can still be amped up, and the adrenaline is still going. Other stress hormones that remain elevated for, can be like 20, 30 minutes after an altercation.
Sure.
Usually if there's no big injuries or anything, you can usually let them back together.
Okay.
If you have a bigger fight where things are happening, someone's got, one of the dogs has gotten hurt, You might want to, and this is her recommendation, is to, get a professional there.
No, sure.
To help not only bring the dogs together, but to see how they react to each other.
Okay.
Around our area, we're pretty rural. We don't have lots of options for trainers.
No, not really. There's like hunting dog trainers, but even them, I think they're a little further away.
They are. I think the nearest one to me is about 50 miles, and then there's others that are.
Yeah, which we don't have hunting dogs, so we're not.
We're not really involved in that life.
Right.
But yeah, so there are things that you can do. If it does go as far as a fight, if you have the option of getting a trainer in there to, assess what happened or is gonna happen, that's great.
Yeah, that's excellent.
It's not really realistic for all people depending on their locations. So, that's the kind of thing that, a book like this can be very helpful with. And even like if you're looking at getting an additional dog, you might want to look it through. Some people have problems when they, there's so many different reasons they do it, but they'll get a young dog. When they have an older dog, sometimes they're trying to replace the older dog as they're kind of fading away. They want the young dog to learn from it.
Right.
And it doesn't always go as smooth as they would like.
Yeah.
So, a book like this, again, it is called Keeping the Peace, and it's a guide to solving dog-on-dog aggression in the home. And it might just be a book that you could read before you get that dog and find some preventative activities, ways of introducing. It might give you the information you need to just totally eliminate the possibility of having a problem.
Right. Start with the information.
Right.
And, then you can, hopefully prevent all that.
Yeah, because it's, even like with my boy dogs, I sometimes think, it'd be so nice to have a relaxed home where everybody could be in one room at one time.
Yeah.
I have 3 intact males, and that is not an option with those 3 guys.
Yeah.
And, it kind of bums me out because I would like to just sit down and enjoy everybody at one time.
Yeah.
But that's the nature of my business, and so, for you folks out there, if you do want to have multiple dogs, this might be a really great way so you don't ever have to have the tension within the home.
Well, and, being a multiple dog owner myself, there are some things that I maybe wish I would have known before. I can't really think of a specific situation right now, but preventative things.
How about feeding dogs in the same room?
Yeah.
That's a harsh lesson for some people.
It really is. And honestly, there's no reason for it. Just feed them on their own separate time.
Separate time, separate place.
Yep.
Why even, I see, I do see those posts on the internet where they have like 8 dogs that they're feeding raw meat to all at one time in the same room. And, kudos to those people, but in all reality, you're kind of playing with fire.
Well, you imagine if one of those dogs gets mad about something, every single one of those is going to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And what a sad deal.
And that is, you're weighing out, the risk to benefit. Is it really that much easier to have everyone eating at one time? And
no.
I guess that's not a risk I'm willing to take.
No, and that's the thing, I have made that mistake, and don't do it, okay? Just don't do it.
Yeah, there's little things that you kind of take for granted that, could or could not be a problem, who knows, but little, preparation before you make that purchase or take on a new dog, might help you avoid anything that could come up.
It just makes for a good home for everybody. So
kids, partners,
everybody. So, preventative is I think the best way to go about it, and learn it first. Yeah, it makes it just so much easier, and I feel like it's less stressful doing it that way too, because you're kind of prepared.
Well, and if you're less stressed,
So are they.
so's the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dog isn't, on alert, feeling stressed out.
Right. Because
More
you've
likely
got
to
it.
snap, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So, I think that's plenty of time today.
Oh.
So, again, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and email us at realtalkdogtalk@yahoo.com.
And thank you for joining us. We hope you will be here for our next podcast.
Bye.
Goodbye.